for you to call in, the numbers for you to still call in will be 0902-922-2944 to advise the lady, to advise the boss lady. Or you can also call 08077773288. You can send a WhatsApp message on 0901-625-2525. Alright, here still the guest is here in the studio. That is the boss man, Boss Christopher. Yes, boss. And the story again goes like this. For you to advise the boss lady, put a call through and advise the boss lady. And the message goes this way. It says, good evening, boss. Good evening. It says, please, I need some advice. Please, I rushed to make dinner for my fiance after work yesterday. He kept pestering me at work to go prepare food for him that he is expecting his mom. So I took my money, went to his place, and I prepared pounded yam with egusi soup, and I left. So as I was cooking, I was charging my phone, and I forgot the charger. I had to go back with the intention of spending the night, as though I can't return home that night. Behold, another woman that night, when I knocked, she opened, asking me who I was. I was mute until she said, my word, you have a visitor. He quickly rushed and sought me. He didn't even let me in. He just handed me the charger and said good night. This morning, he was calling to say sorry. That is because I don't let him to have me. I have been this confused. Please, I need your advice. So boss, call in and advise the boss lady this evening. Alright, this one says good evening, bosses. Good evening back to you. Says my name is Chidera, right from Maraba. Well done. So that the story this evening is that the boss lady knows what she wants. She has gone to see what she wanted to see, hoping to see the mother-in-law to be. And going there, she saw different things. It's so obvious that these two, the both of them have been in relationship even before they met. Calling him my word means a lot. She should read between the lines. That man is not for him, for her. She should move on with her life. Oh, but she stated quietly here that she asked, she said, my word alone is something life. Alright? And that's the thing that that really interests me this night. You're talking about red flags, and you're also talking about something that is that your deal breaker. Yes, talking about deal breaker and red flags. Alright, now that this boss lady is having this right now, and then she wants to move on, you ask her a question if that is a deal breaker. And now some persons might not know how that deal breaker looks like. Some persons, when they see deal breaker, I don't know if they can identify that, okay, this is my deal breaker. Just like you say, red flags and deal breaker to you is somehow different. So to you, this could just be a deal breaker. It's something you call red flags. So if you see red flags, you say, fine, this deal breaker, this is deal breaker. If you see deal breaker, you say this is red flag. Well, how can someone identify that this is deal breaker for me in this relationship?
Okay, series of red flags eventually builds up a deal breaker. Series of reoccurrence of the same thing eventually brings up a deal breaker. I believe this thing is not the first time it's happening. Yeah, from how the story is coming.
Okay.
She has seen traces like this. Probably haven't caught him before.
Okay.
Probably haven't caught him before. But she has been seeing that, okay, my man might be cheating on me.
Yes.
She has been seeing those signs. And eventually, this particular one prompted her to say, okay, let me find out truly if this is what is happening.
Okay.
And that was when she had to discover that.
Mm.
Moving on is not always easy for either sides, depending on who's, a guy can also fall in that same position.
Okay.
And a lady too. But in this case, we're discussing about the lady that is in that position.
All right.
But one thing I will advise to everybody, all bosses around, is that moving on is not always easy. It's always difficult. Just like how most cases falling in love with somebody is just a natural phenomenon. You met this person, started engaging in conversations with this person, and then eventually it's happened. It's a natural thing. But when it's time for you to move on from somebody that you have actually developed feelings over a period of time, it's not always easy. So you just have to look for what comforts you. If it's talking to people, you talk to people. If it's going around people, being around people. There was something that happened when I had my first. There was a time that I was heartbroken, and that was back then in school. I had to now discover that.
First, you say deal breaker and non-negotiable. We say yes, deal breaker and non-negotiable.
Okay.
All right. So, can I ask you a question now?
All right.
Concerning deal breaker and red flags. So, because I can see that deal breaker to you is non-negotiable.
Exactly.
In ending a relationship. So, are we trying to say that deal breaker is non-negotiable? So, for you to make move that you do not want this relationship again, your deal breaker should be something that is so important that yes, when you say no, non-negotiable of someone's character or behavior. So is it non-negotiable to you?
When it gets to the point of it being a deal breaker,
yes,
it's non-negotiable. But that same relationship can still come alive again, depending on what actually led to the deal breaker. It could be, okay, maybe this guy is not actually cheating. In a reverse case of the story, maybe the guy is not actually cheating and there is a lady or an ex trying to cause chaos and making it look like this guy is still having an affair with me. I don't know if you get, like, let me give an instance.
Right.
There was something that happened to a guy. He had an affair with a lady.
Okay.
And after that, during that time, he wanted to move out from the relationship because he has seen that, okay, this relationship is not going to take me to the point at which I want to be. So he wanted out. So within that period he wanted out, he met this other lady and they went into a relationship. Now he went back to that other previous lady and told her that that he's no more interested in the relationship, and he walked away. Now, of course, you don't expect the other lady to just let him walk away.
Okay.
She decided to play a chess on the board, make it look like I'm not this guy's enemy, but try to cause a chaos in that relationship in the occurrences.
Okay.
And now to the partner of the guy, she feels like if this guy is still doing this thing with this girl, it means it's a no for her. So it got to her deal breaker point. At that point, the guy is not really much at fault because the other lady, the ex, is trying to paint the whole thing like this guy is still having an affair with her.
Okay.
And now, knowing full well that the lady he's with now,
yes,
would not tolerate something like that, she would want to call it off. And she had to play that chess that way. So there are some deal breakers that get to a point. You can't. There's people that still will consider.
Okay.
There are people that will see that a man is beating them.
Yeah.
They will still go back. I will never advise you to go back to such deal breakers.
Yes.
Any deal breaker that has to go with you, always crying. Either as a guy, men cry.
Okay. So sorry, because you're talking about this deal breaker right now, because this boss lady, this advice now, it seems that she didn't know which one is deal breaker and red flag right now, and not just her alone. There are persons who don't know deal breakers, and also one who don't also know to just compare red flags and deal breaker. You get it? Okay, now let's take it this way. I was trying to say now that the boss lady, okay, let me take which one should be a red flag and which one should be a deal breaker now, because this should be two scenarios of people being in relationship, two relationships I'm to give you right now. So being in a relationship with someone who always gives you flower, who gives you money when needed, and you know that this person cheats on me, this person has been cheating on me, and sometimes somehow you caught him unnoticed, and even the one you caught him, you will still try to protect himself, and at the end he will give you something behind the scene. You start crying, and when he calls you and apologize, please, I'm so sorry, something happened, and just like the boss lady said, because you don't let me have you, that's the reason why I have to go, I have to do, and not knowing that she has been calling him my word. Now, are we going to say this is a deal breaker, or are we going to say it's a red flag? And now to this other relationship whereby you're in this relationship and your partner always gives excuses. Anytime he said, I'm at work, I'm busy at work. Anytime, please, I want you to do this, I want you to prepare this, just like the boss man now.
Okay.
Just like the boss man has been calling, pestering, always on her. Please leave your work, go back, prepare something for my mom. These are the two relationships. So are we to say this one is red flag? Okay. Or are we to say this is deal breaker? Because now some persons don't know how to handle it. Just like the boss lady now, she caught the boss man, and then she's seeking for advice that she's confused.
Okay.
Is it going to be a red flag or a deal breaker? And there are some persons who are in the situation now, this story, that don't know how to go about it. If it's something that I'm to call it my deal breaker, why that deal breaker might be something else, or in general we have something that nobody in relationship should ever tolerate. Is that something like that nobody should tolerate in relationship, or someone can actually manage?
Okay.
Based on these two stories I just gave to you.
All right. If I respond to that, the difference between a deal breaker and red flags. First, a red flag is a steady reoccurrence of something.
Okay.
For instance, cheating, lying. Your partner always lies. Anytime you catch your partner, he or she will maneuver, lie, knows how to lie,
come out, and even excuses. Yes.
That is a red flag. Now, that lying habit keeps on happening in that relationship.
Okay.
Over that period of time, both of you are in that relationship. It keep reoccurring.
Yes.
Those are red flags. Now, when you now get to the point at which the person will say, I am fed up of this whole thing, I want out, that is the point you call it a deal breaker.
Okay.
I don't know if you get.
I get
now, for the first person you spoke about, that the partner showers her with lot of goodies,
everything.
Tenny says she rather cry in the bed, but
that should just be there.
Yeah, but concerning that in question, the partner always showers her with goodies and make her cry.
Okay.
Now, if that keeps on recurring, that every time he or she makes the partner to cry and then comes back with gifts, those are red flags.
Okay.
But now when it gets to the point
that you can no longer take
it and you say you want out, that is a deal breaker. Now, for a relationship of excuses, you find yourself in a relationship and every time the partner always make excuses.
Yeah.
Now, as a lady, if you are not career driven,
okay,
if you're not the kind of lady that don't mind you on your own, your career, you're a career lady, you can travel for like 4 months, go to do international businesses, worldwide businesses, you don't mind if your partner is not around, then you can be a person that can live with excuses in marriage or in any relationship.
Okay.
But if you're that kind of person that no, you want your partner,
says attention.
Women love attention.
Yeah.
They love any man that can give them attention, even though it's very little time. You're giving that attention. Know how they feel. Know what they want. Know how to cater for them whenever they are having those. Okay.
Oh, sorry. All right, so boss, I know you're trying to call in again, so call in again and let's have your take on the discussion. All right, you can join the discussion. What you have to say, your deal breaker. What is your deal breaker? How does it look like? And can you identify deal breaker and red flag? Can you identify deal breaker and red flag? All right, so because some persons might see that red flags is something that I cannot take. Sometimes necessarily, yes. Red flag is just potential recurrence of. It's just, let me just say, it's warning in relationship. It's warning. Can you change this person or can this person change? How often can this person continue with this? All right, and you see it and it reoccur. You don't think. But some persons, if you see deal breaker, you call it red flag. If you see red flag, you call it deal breaker. All right. So the guest in the studio, yeah, boss Christopher, is saying that deal breaker, red flag, is a process that leads to deal breaker, right? That
Yes.
is in all what you say. Red flags are they just process that leads to.
There are those steady recurrence of
Steady
those
recurrence
particular
of
things:
particular
lying,
things, yeah.
cheating, bad habits.
Okay. And so, boss, how do you identify your own deal breaker? You need to know now. So, call in. If you have questions to ask, you call in and ask your question. All right. You have anything to say, you call in and also contribute. All right. And the numbers for you to call in will be 0902 922 2944. 0902 922 2944 or 0807 777 3288. You can send WhatsApp message on 0901 625 2525. Alright, so boss, you can call in or you send your text messages and WhatsApp message right now. And yes, boss. Okay, this one says good evening, boss. Sees in the studio. Says well done, sir. Well, thank you so very much. And says here, I want to say something concerning deal breaker. I must sincerely say that I do not know my deal breaker, because I see red flags every time I tell someone red flags, but I do not know that there should be a deal breaker in relationship. Thank you so much, boss. Keep the good work going. And Michael from Araba. All right, boss Michael, that's good one. You know, some persons don't know how deal breaker look like, and some persons cannot identify deal breaker in their relationship. So right now, boss Christopher is advising and also saying that you should know your red flags. And boss Christopher,
Yeah.
we also were here before and we also asking, are there red flags that are manageable?
Yeah, of course, there are red flags that are manageable.
And are there other red flags that can just lead direct to deal breakers?
Yes.
Hmm.
Now, there are red flags that are manageable. Let's say some bad habits. You might see somebody that says,
And how often can someone say you want to manage red flags and at the time you still want, like, okay, fine, talking about this red flag, is it the one that they listen and pick advice from? Because I don't think some person will just say this red flag is a no for me. I just have to move.
you know, the word red flag sounds so sweet in the mouth. So, and you know, it's a viral word. People want to just use it randomly. But you need to really understand the deep meaning of red flags.
Red flags and know how to act. And when to act.
Exactly. Now, there are some red flags that are a bit manageable. Like for a lady that doesn't like a man that drinks alcohol, you can say that I can manage this one. As long as it's not the kind of guy that drinks, comes back, become violent and stuff. She still see that, okay, this guy takes it socially.
Yeah.
Yes, those are still red flags because from her end she doesn't like it.
Okay.
But those ones can still be managed. But when it comes to cheating is something that shouldn't be encouraged in any relationship.
Right.
Because you're coming to tell this person that I'm giving you my attention, I'm giving you my time, I want to be with you. Of course, the eyes on outside has to be taken away because there is no room for distraction.
All right.
Once you're distracted by multiple partners, you find out that you're not loyal in your relationship, and you find out that you're even less successful. If you see most successful people in the society, they are just with their own partner because they know the success they drive from that. So there are some red flags that are manageable. You can see somebody that says I think I once had an issue. Somebody came to me and said, Mr. Tunchi, Mr. Christopher, I prefer my man to cheat than to drink.
This is serious.
Now, for somebody else to say, how will I want my man to cheat? I will prefer him to drink. Now, for the lady now, she can deal with a man that cheats. She can live with a man that cheats, but she can't live with a man that drinks.
Yes.
But that's the other way around now. The other person will say, I can't even cope with two. Talk more of, I can't cope with one. Talk more of having a guy that does both. So, we should always take time. Maybe your partner does something, you feel like, oh, no, this is a red flag for me. I don't like this. You just take your time and see if you can correct your partner. And if your partner is that listening type, he or she is definitely going to correct. But when it gets to reoccurrences, like I always say, any reoccurrence in relationship that makes any of the person, either the lady or the man, to always cry, emotionally down, mentally down, that person should cut it off and walk away.
Learn to say no. Learn to know when to say no. All right. Okay, so boss, and that is it. This evening on the story. Okay, yeah. In conclusion, on what you're talking about, this, do you have one word or two to just tell the boss lady and the boss man listening right now in the relationship that they are in concerning these red flags and the things you've been saying, and advise them, one or two words you have for them?
My advice,
concerning deal breakers and the red flags.
My advice to all bosses around, to the lady, to the man, and everybody out there: before you say this is a relationship, put it on a scale and know if your partner values you. Before love comes value. You can come and say, I love this person, I love you. You don't value the person.
Okay.
Check. Put it on a wave scale. Does my partner value me? If your partner if you wait and you see that, oh, you hold a lot of value, trust me, the love will be there, because that is what is going to give birth to love and respect. So we should always look up. And to the lady, I want to tell her that she is a very wonderful person. She's a very wonderful soul. A strong woman. And she deserves to be happy. She deserves to be with a man that values her. You know, the problem is, in most cases like this, you see some people that they will say they cannot go out. They will feel like, I've been with this person for this period of time, so if I let go of this person, I'm feeling cheated.
That is, they also weigh their staying with the length they've been in the relationship.
Yes. So please, I will advise everybody listening, every boss out there listening, that you should always be with someone that values you. And I will always say this: always brand yourself in a relationship.
Brand yourself.
When you brand yourself, you present yourself to your partner in a way. Trust me, your partner would not want to do anything as such. And if mistakenly something happens, the person will come running to you at all costs.
So the way you present yourself is also way how your partner will also.
Yeah, exactly. Then for the issue of red flags, please go back to yourself, see things. Okay, let me break it down to a layman, or should I say in a common way. Red flags are those things that you don't like. It's a new word that is trending now. It used to be there from the old, but it's like for the past 5 years now, it's just trending because of social media. So just know those things you don't like, and always know how to present yourself and tell your partner about yourself. it is essential that you and your partner knows yourself very, very well. Know the thing you like, know the thing you dislike, your turn on, your turn off, all those things. You need to know them. You need to have a good pillow talk with your partner, heart-to-heart conversation. This is my kind of person. This is who I am. This is what I like. This is what I want to do. This is what I love to do. There should always be an engagement, a talk engagement between partners. That also makes them know what I shouldn't do to hurt my partner. So please, whenever you see something that has to do with your mental health, see, we all love you and we want your mental health to be always intact for us. So please, for the lady, go out, work and be happy.
Work and be happy. Brand yourself. Brand yourself. All right. That's thing that makes you, that will make you to act the other way around without you being stable. Boss, stop it. Brand yourself. All right. Know your deal breaker and also know red flags. All right. Boss, everything will be okay for you right now. All right. Yeah. So you've listened to what the